So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mimic two developers are working on the same repository. Okay. Let's see, one person is working on the Git bash. Okay. So let me go to the RB Git training this thing and let me do a Git pull just to ensure that I'm having the latest code. Okay. Let's say there is a developer working on this Git bash, and to mimic the other developer, what I will do, I will create a file, okay, on this UI itself. So imagine there are two developers working on, okay, let's say to replicate that, one thing I'm going to do it in the Git bash, another thing I'm going to do it in the Git UI. So let me do one thing. In the Git UI, let me create a new file. Okay, let's say I'm writing a code and I can give a file name for it. So let me call it as what I can call it as. Okay, test.yaml. Okay, let me create a test.yaml. In the line 1, let me put this is my first line. Let me just create a file in the UI. That means, let's say I'm a UI developer. I'm writing the code. Okay, and there I can put a commit message, and you can put a extended description of this, and I can do it. Let me commit this file. Okay. Now, as the other developer, let me try to do a git pull. You can see there is one test.yaml has been created, and if I do a git log, you can see there is one more commit message created, and it was done by me on the UI. Okay. And you should be able to see the commit logs on the CLI. Let's say that is the developer B. So developer A is using the UI to create a code, and developer B is using the Git bash to make the changes. So now we have created a file in the UI that as a developer A, okay, and he has created a file and he was able to see the file here. Okay, let's see one scenario where as the developer B, I'm just going to modify something in the test.yaml. So let me do the notepad test.yaml. Okay. And instead of this is my first line. Let me add some content at the same line. Okay. Hyphen for testing. That let's say this guy is adding some more additional content. This file is all about git merge testing. Okay, so let's say as the developer B, I'm adding some other additional content on the existing line. I am making a change. Okay, so let me save this in the test.yaml. I'm adding this content. In the test.yaml, I'm adding this content. At the same time, in the UI, I'm making a different change. So here, I'm just putting one more line. So the existing line I'm changing, okay, with hyphen for testing. Okay, so just imagine it's the same file where the user B has added double hyphen for testing. Okay, but in the UI as a developer A, I'm making a change for testing merge. Okay, in the UI, make these changes. So now without knowing the change from the user A. Let's see, the user B is doing something. Let me save this. No longer need this. Okay, now, let's say this guy is doing a git add dot. Okay, and before committing, he wants to check is there any new update on the file. So if I do a git pull, you would see there is a error. Your local changes to the following files would be overwritten by the merge. Please commit your changes before you merge. Okay, so if you see this now, if I edit the file, right, pad test.yaml. This one, I think I have used vi, right? Vi test.yaml. One thing. So there is a change. So let me commit the change first. Okay. So git commit -m. Okay. Making. Okay. Let me see. Added testing code. Now, if I do a git pull, you see there is a conflict is happening because on the same line, I have two different codes. So let's do that. So do a git add, then git commit, and then if you do a git pull, you will see this. Now, if you edit the file, you can see a highlighter in the area where you are having it. So just note it down. On the first line only, I'm seeing the change. So it's saying, see, on this line, I have two sets of codes. One is from the user A. So this is my code, and this is from the other user, and this is the commit ID of it. What is happening here is, so there is a merge conflict happening on the file where the first line it is highlighting my current code, and this is the change from the repository. So it is asking me to fix that. Okay, so that is what we are seeing. Here I can decide whether I should keep my current version or I can keep the older version. So that I can do it. So basically, I will edit this file, and then let's say I decided to keep my version. That is the developer B wants to keep his version. So I'm just keeping my version. Then let me save this. And then let me do a git status. Yeah. So this file is modified. And I can do a git add dot and then commit, and then I can do a git push origin main. Yeah. Now I can see my version of code is available in the repository. So this is how you can manage the merge conflict when the two developers writes the same different content in the same line of the code. Now, if you do a git log, Okay, you can see all the commit messages are available. You can see the complete thing. So if you press enter, it's a huge message. So if you press enter, it will come down. So if you see that, I have my first commit, and after that, as the UI user, I have created a test, and after that, the test. This is something which I did it. Okay, and next, after that, you can see the multiple things. Okay, so to come out of it, type Q. To come out of this log, you can type Q. So this is how, when multiple developers working on the same branch and they are having a merge conflict, they can decide what needs to be kept. And the same thing happens with the other developer also. He need to download and understand and then talk with the other person and then agree upon a common syntax and they will fix it.